Hello and welcome to Wise Woman Television. I welcome you to our first episode of Wisdom for the World, where I share what wisdom is coming through today for you, for me, for all of us, to guide us through this transition, for all that is to come and all that is available for us. I encourage you to like and subscribe. That way we get the word out there. That way we can support each other and really do the greatest possible work that we can do, and that we can create a world that is thriving in abundance, that serves and supports all of our highest soul's expressions and meets the needs of all beings on planet Earth. So that way the word gets out there to other YouTubers, and subscribe. That way you're able to keep up with these videos as they show up, and that way you are making a commitment to yourself and to your own growth and path. Every time a notification comes through, you are being invited to return to the truth of who you are. So that's what these videos will do for you. One last thing, I invite you to explore all of the text below this video. You can find ways to get to know me, to get to know my community and the communities that I am a part of, so that we can create, collaborate, and co-create together, whether it's to support you in your own growth, your own life, your purpose, path, and spiritual work, or the greater work you want to do in the world, because what supports you supports all. So thank you, and I invite you to take a look at that, and then I'm going to go ahead and dive in. I would like for these videos to eventually be live. That way we can interact, you can ask questions, it'll be an opportunity for us to truly converse and commune together. For today, it is recorded, and that's okay too. So the wisdom that wanted to come through today, and I always pull cards for now, I don't want to say always and forever, but for now I pull cards and I see what is the most important wisdom or messages that want to come through right now to support the highest and greatest good for all. So the first is about really listening to those inner inklings and nudges that you know what you're meant to be doing right now, you know how you're meant to be living, you know what's most important that kind of wants to come through. It's like a seedling that's hatching, and there's something that wants to come out of you, there's something that wants to be integrated or given more attention to, and it's asking you to look at those things and to ensure you're giving it the proper time and attention or focus that it needs to truly come into being. So we've been given this space, this transition, to explore our lives and look at what matters most, what's most meaningful and important to us, and then to let go of all those things that aren't working for us. Oftentimes we know very clearly what is not working for us, right? So in this situation, it's about recognizing that, sure, but even more importantly, getting to know those things that are nudging you to come into being. So there might be some things in your life that you've wanted to do or attend to or create or something that you haven't yet gotten around to. Perhaps it's more home cooked meals, perhaps it's growing a garden, perhaps it's building an online community, perhaps it's stepping into your purpose work. Whatever it is for you, you know what it is, and it's asking you to give that the time, attention, and devotion that it needs. Nurture that, because it's asking to come alive, to grow through you, and you feel it. So all you have to do is give attention to it and to begin taking the steps and making the choices to see it all come through to fruition and to your life as well. So let me see if there's anything else that wants to be offered here. And again, eventually I look forward to this being live. That way you can have your comments and your insights and your reflections. You can share with me what it is that's calling for you to do, to create, to build. So that's coming down the pipeline here in the near future. Follow the call, heed the call. You're being called for a reason. Trust that and follow it. So it's like a thread. And so all the stuff of your daily lives, of practical reality, and all the things that you have to do and get to sort of hover around this thread, right? But there is a thread. And so it's holding on to the thread, and then the next step, finding the thread again, and the next step, finding the thread again, and allowing that to be what pulls you through and guides you, not only through this experience, but into your and our new future, because we are actively creating something new. And if you didn't watch the New Earth video, I encourage you to do that. We are actively creating something new by following the thread and through line that's in our hearts, what our soul is calling us to do or beckoning us toward. Just by paying attention to that in our everyday lives, we are laying the groundwork and planting the seeds for the future that is to come, the future that we are building that only happens as long as we follow that thread and through line. So you're being nudged, heed the call. The next message is about focusing on the light. So the good that is here. This is so important. It's almost like putting blinders on to all of the noise and the news and all the things that are happening in the external collective reality to focus on what's happening in your reality. If it hasn't knocked on your door, well, even more so, if it hasn't stepped into your home yet, it's not yours and it's not your reality. Okay, that goes for good or bad. Good or bad, right? These are judgments. They aren't necessarily true. They're based on our own perception. Everything serves, everything supports us. It can if we allow it. That said, if it's not happening to you directly right now in this moment in your reality, it is not true for you. So don't believe it, disregard it, stay focused on what's right here in your present moment. Your present moment will always inform you as to what you need to give focus to and what is most important. Your mind is going to have a lot to say, especially right now. It may even try to derail you or throw you off or distract you. This is actually relevant to the first message too, of there might be some even self-sabotage that come up or may influence you or can influence you, because as you begin to follow this thread and through line, as you begin to focus on just the reality that's here, your ego, the other part of you, your mind, which there's nothing wrong with, right? These are gifts, is a part of the human experience. They're not to be denied or unfavored. However, they're going to have a lot to say about any changes that you're making. They're going to have a lot to say about any of the scary things that are happening out in the world. It wants to survive. It wants to see you through this. So it's going to have a lot to say. And it can support you if we turn from fear and into responsibility. So instead of allowing this to be a fearful experience, just see how underneath that or through that there is a kernel or a message in terms of how you can be more responsible. So what ways is your fear asking you to be more responsible? So that way you're not acting out of fear, but instead you're acting from your own power. And all of that to say what is happening in your reality, in your present moment now, whether it's you cooking, doing dishes in your garden, riding a horse, whether it's you're watching this YouTube video right now, whether it's you're on a Zoom call or you're caring for your kids, whatever it is, that is what is real and true for you. And your reality is complete. In that present moment, there's nothing more for you to attend to or for you to do. Your moment is complete. Nothing else exists. So the news and the noise and all of that stuff, the white noise that's outside of your little bubble of your present moment, is totally irrelevant to you until it shows up in your bubble. So all of the fear talk that's out there, all of the things that are to come potentially, or the things that are to get worse, whatever the mind has to say, its own concerns, its own fears, none of that is relevant unless it's literally in your present moment. And I would give some examples, but I'm shying away from giving examples because I don't want to give attention to it, because we're being asked here to not do that and to just focus on what's right here, what's right now, what's important to us, and what we are seeding, right? That first message. That's what you're meant to give attention to. And that's how we create a new future for ourselves that does support our own thriving, that does support our own material and spiritual abundance, that experience of thriving. And it's what supports all beings to survive and live abundantly, and for there to be a sustainable future for all, right? It happens through following those nudges within us and staying focused on what's right here, without catastrophizing or getting lost in all of the big possibilities or worst case scenarios. Stay right here, grounded in this moment. That's what you're being asked to do. And to focus on the good. What is inspiring you, right? What it feels good. What makes you feel alive or come alive? What are you passionate about? So I know for me as a social justice warrior, for someone like me, I can get riled up and or get involved or invested in some of these possibilities or scarier outcomes, or the things that I believe are quite deceiving or corrupt in the world. That can get to me. However, I also recognize that tells me what I'm passionate about. So how can I create a world that is inspiring, that is honest, that is authentic, that is supportive, that is sustainable, that is compassionate, right? So taking that passion of mine that is real and true for me, not ignoring it, letting it be a part of my experience and a part of my world in a way that I can give back, but ensuring that the energy that I'm using doesn't contribute to more negativity or more fear, but instead creates a world that makes that fear obsolete. That's your job. That's my job too. That's all of our jobs. And there's one final message here, and it's really about this is more about staying focused, staying true to yourself, that other people are going to have something to say, not necessarily about you following your path, although they might, but it's about allowing all of that other stuff to be silenced and to stay right here into what's true for you. Staying right here, staying focused on what's good, what makes you come alive, what feels right and good. And the thing is, when I say right and good, what makes you come alive and all that stuff, it doesn't mean life is always going to feel amazing. It doesn't mean you're always going to feel abundant or that you're always thriving. Life doesn't happen that way. Life experience isn't that way. And that's because we are in a plane of duality, which has both good and bad, beautiful and ugly, light and dark. So that includes the dark, the ugly, the shadow, and it's not always fun. It includes, right, conscious and subconscious. So we have this other realm, this other side to this experience, this other side to life and humanity that can feel dark. It's not like we love those things, right? But that's what we're here to experience. So it doesn't mean that those things won't happen. It just means, and what the message is offering, it's an opportunity to stay focused on what is most important, what is most meaningful, what is fulfilling to you, what brings you passion. So it doesn't mean these other things might not be coming into your life. And again, that's why we only focus on our little bubble, because at the end of the day, right now, most of our bubbles are in harmony or in peace most often. It's our minds that generate a worry or a concern. Now, there might be very real things happening to you right now, okay? I am one of the people who was unemployed and haven't received unemployment in 6 weeks. I'm one of the, I think, 25 million people in the United States where that is a possibility, or that is a reality right now, rather. So it's not that there isn't something to worry about or that isn't concerning, because I want this channel, I want these episodes to very much meet you at your humanity and recognize that the hardship and the challenges that are very real and visceral to the human experience. We don't deny those here. However, today, this particular message isn't about working through that, processing it, or healing it. Today's message, and there will be many other videos and many other messages that will probably explore a lot of that stuff. But for today, it's saying stay within your bubble, your present moment, your unique reality that's closest to you, your surroundings, your loved ones. Start seeing the future with the things that are most important and most meaningful to you, those little nudges, those callings, or whatever little ways you can begin to attend and just create space for that, to nurture that. And then to stay right here within yourself. Stay focused, stay connected, and to let everything else go to the wayside because it's irrelevant. And again, through this work, through what we're doing, we're going to create a world where these worst case scenarios and these fears and all of the things that are happening now that we aren't happy with, that we aren't aligned with, that we don't support or advocate, we're creating a world where all of that is obsolete. So that is the good news, and that's what's possible here. So I encourage you, I will be doing more videos, Wisdom of the World videos, weekly at the least, more often than that at the most. So I encourage you to stay connected here, make this a commitment to your path, make this a commitment to support you in your own growth and evolution while you are seeding your future, while you are moving through this transition, especially if it's challenging for you. And I also invite you to explore the resources below and see how I might be able to support you in more intimate or deep ways. And with that said, I thank you for being here. I am here for you and with you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.